We have each other. Wonderful. Well, thanks for that. I appreciate you enjoying it. I'm glad you liked it. I think the general energy around the event has been very positive. People seem to really enjoy it. You can leave it up a little bit, just out of the way.
Everyone's in party mode.
Everyone's in party mode. Keep them going. I don't want to ruin that vibe. Look, my general strategy around conferences, look at how you did last year. Look at our areas of opportunity. What fell flat? What didn't work out so well? And replace it with new ideas and not quite alpha beta testing, but just really try it out. So this year we added the fireside chat. We really tried to keep the lectures down to a minimum. Nothing was more than 10 minutes. These are folks that can certainly give an hour talk for the most part. But I asked them to really give short, specific talks. The framing was very similar last year. Just we added a few things. We took on some more projects. And as always, we try to find somebody to give the keynote from outside our industry, but whose work speaks to our work. And so I know you interviewed Topher Gaylord from Under Armour, who gave this outstanding talk. And for those of you who are watching and haven't seen Topher's interview or the talk, I highly recommend that. It was inspirational, and his perspective on providing their customers with physical armor, emotional armor, and information armor was such a great way to frame the issue. Because for us as clinicians taking care of injured people, it's not that different from an athlete who trains for an event. The event itself is an injury to the body and then has to recover. Well, it's very similar to what we do in healthcare, where we're dealing with people who have injured, need to have an event or an injury as a procedure or treatment, then have to recover. So how do we provide them the emotional armor? How do we provide them the informational armor? And how do we provide the physical armor? I think those metaphors really rang well with me, and I thought it was a very good way of doing it. And then lastly, we really spent a lot of time curating not only the speakers but the audience. And I was so proud of the folks that came to this event. The quality, the caliber, the level, the brain trust that we had in the room was pretty impressive. We're at J.P. Morgan, so these folks are all here, but we managed to have them come in.
As a member of the audience, I learned things today that I didn't think existed or were even possible, that seemed like an exotic concept, but that people are actually doing. And you made a comment saying, who else needs to be here, right? And I have a Rolodex in my head of people that I know that I work with in the industry, my bosses, right? That need to come here and see that AR is the future, that AI is the future, and that it's good, right? How are you going to expand this concept? You made a big announcement earlier about the future of DOCSF and where you're going with it.
So DOCSF really focuses on the digital orthopedic space. What does that mean? That means a delivery of care model. How do we deliver care? Is it telehealth? Is it AI? Is it VR? It's a delivery model. What we have not been able to get into, because it's really not in this focus space, is the whole area of biotech, regenerative medicine, all the biologics. And outside the doors here, there's a lot of people who are going to be spending a lot of time talking about biology, biotech, etc. So how do we bring that into DOCSF without impinging on what is really a digital space? We're going to create ROCSF, the Regenerative Orthopedic Conference, which will be all day Saturday. So it'll be preceding our DOCSF conference, the digital conference, on Sunday. So Saturday we do regenerative, and Sunday we do digital. The focus of the Regenerative Conference is going to be to look at biological product. It could be 3D biologic printing, it could be regenerative tissue surgery, that kind of stuff, or DNA stuff, all that kind of stuff. That needs to be brought into the clinical space, but it's in a lab. So how do we talk about improving the flow of new ideas in the lab and bring them out into the clinical space? So that's what ROCSF is going to be about. And then with DOCSF, ROCSF, so we'll be able to now have a global picture of the future of orthopedics as it applies to the delivery model and then what we're actually delivering.
And are you doing all this on top of your day job? You're still practicing as an orthopedic surgeon?
Correct. I'm still a professor at UCSF, and we operate a lot, and we have lots of patients to see. And and of the research arm, we do a lot of great research right now on digital tools, and actually some of the greatest stuff we're doing right now, we're using sensors to monitor patient post-recovery, and we're seeing some amazing data come out that allow us to create predictive analytics. So I'm pretty excited about that.
So you're in San Francisco at UCSF. You're doing innovative things. What advice would you give to orthopedic surgeons out there that really are interested in the concept but don't have that, energy of being in the Bay Area and hearing this and seeing it, right? To stay relevant and up to date with what's going on and the realities of what's coming, right?
There's a
outside of coming to the conference,
right? Course. No, the truth is, we're not making it easy. Okay. So, for example, within the American Association of Knee Surgeons, we are starting to develop educational modules that are specifically designed to create an educational pathway around, just to bring people up to speed. This conference is really a networking event. It's not designed an educational event. It's a networking event. We see the network, and network then takes ideas forward. But what we also need to create, and we're doing it in my space of adult reconstruction. There's a conference we run in San Francisco. We're adding a digital health section. Like I said, the Academy, American Health Surgeons, is looking into space. I think the other association need to sort of wake up a little bit and spend a little more time focusing on this space. Absolutely right. There is, I think we're doing a disservice to our colleagues in primary care and orthopedic practice, because they're going to be blindsided pretty quickly by some of these technologies as they become available. And it won't even necessarily be that it'll be foisted on them, but the patients will demand them. The truth is, how long can you not provide patients telehealth when they do everything else tele, when the entire world is on their phone, and you're saying, no, you have to come into my office? How long will they keep coming to you if the guy next door is offering those services? At some point, you get left behind. So we need to create those spaces. Suggestion, go to Health 2.0, go to Exponential Medicine. That's probably the best one, or one of the best ones. There's a number of conferences on the East Coast. I think HIMSS is a little too big, but that could be a good place to go as well. And you go to a lot of conferences. Perhaps you have some ideas of where people should go. Well,
I actually do have a suggestion and an idea, and I think that you should have a blog that is regularly updated.
Ouch.
I know. It's maybe just to point people in the right direction. Just short, quick. This is going on. This is really cool. This is a technology that's like your friend from London. That was the most amazing story I've heard in so long. I think that kind of those short stories that are easily digestible from the view of an orthopedic surgeon that's practicing is going to really be inspirational and well followed.
So, you're talking about Dan? Yeah. So a plug for Dan's podcast, which is called Digital Health Today, and it's on my podcast list. Every episode comes out, I listen to it religiously. Have forever, almost since its inception. He has 7,000 people online that follow him. So that's only been the last 3 years. So we're talking about creating a digital orthopedic podcast, leveraging some of his network, some of his knowledge and know-how, and our collective contacts. He came out of the orthopedic industry. He used to work for Stryker across the pond and the United States, and our contacts in Asia as well, and Australia and India. So to create an educational format that's in a podcast format, it's actually quite easy to go from podcast to blog because we can simply transcribe the podcast and create a blog. So I think that's well, it was supposed to be a secret. Now it's no longer a secret, but we're planning to do that.
That's my job, though, right? Is to get all that intel.
Yeah, you good.
So, end of the day, amazing accomplishment, Dr. Bini. I'm just so proud of you and this organization, this conference, and what you pulled off. I think I can speak for all of the attendees of the conference that as an early adopter, right, that we're going to be here to support this. Everyone in this room goes to a lot of conferences, and it's high quality, awesome, and we're on the bandwagon.
Absolutely.
So anything that we can do to help all the attendees, I would just be so glad to support.
Oh, thank you. Well, listen, Code Technology has been a huge supporter of our conference from day one. You've been a believer. You got it. You saw it. You helped us with all these things. That's awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
Can't wait to bring more bosses next year.
There you go.
Cheers.
Yes.
Congratulations. Cheers. Woo!